All right. Hello, everybody. My name's Mia, and I work for the Military Affairs and Veterans Resource Center. And today we have Miss Mary Beth Monroe, and she's the VA certifying official here at Nova Southeastern University. Really great. I know I can count on her for contacts. And she's here to speak to us about our VA educational benefits because I know it can be kind of confusing, especially if you're a first-time student. So I'll turn it over to her, and she's going to just speak about what benefits you do have, the common questions that most people have, and what we can do to further your education.
Thank you so much, Mia and Matthew, for inviting us to join you in this speaker series today. My name is Mary Beth Monroe, and I'm the Assistant Director of Financial Aid Shared Services and Veterans Benefits Program. I am also the primary school certifying official here at NSU for VA education benefits. My office is the Office of Veterans Benefits, and we actually provide assistance to our students who are using veteran education benefits. And we assist them through the process in terms of taking advantage of all their benefits, how to apply, what to expect in terms of whatever monthly stipends they're eligible for and certification processes. We're basically the middle or the connector between our NSU students, whether they're veterans or dependents of veterans using benefits, and the Department of Veterans Affairs. We connect them in terms of using their benefits and going through the process to apply and receive those benefits at our institutions. So we facilitate this through various means. We join you at times and have these info sessions. We communicate or contact our students through our NSU Contact Center. Um, we get calls from them transferred to our area to discuss what benefits and what options they have available. And we also discuss their enrollment and what how their benefits impact their courses or vice versa. And Mia, feel free to jump in, or any of the other participants as I go along. You can jump in. This is very informal. So I'm here to not only tell you what we do here at the university, but also to answer any general questions that you may have. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the responsibilities for the Office of Veterans Benefits. As I mentioned earlier, we facilitate the process in administering education benefits for veteran students, their spouses, and their dependents. And these are students who attend NSU or are planning to become a student here at NSU and pursue a degree. In addition to that, we work with our regulatory agencies on an annual basis to ensure that we're in compliance with the audits through the Department of Veterans Affairs, and ensure that our programs here at the university are approved and are updated on the VA data system on a weekly, monthly, yearly basis. We have to do our annual reviews. However, as we get new programs in, we work with these regulatory agencies to ensure that these new programs meet the criteria for students to receive their education benefits. Our office has two primary school certifying officials. The school certifying officials' responsibility here at NSU and any other institution nationwide is to submit enrollment certifications to the Department of Veterans Affairs. We must keep VA informed of our students' enrollment statuses who are receiving education benefits. And we are required to ensure that all courses reported to VA for certification purposes actually apply or count towards a degree. And later on, we'll talk a little bit about degree applicable courses and how this would impact students' benefits. Our office is also required to monitor a student's progress, meaning at the end of each semester, we're looking at the grades of students who are using education benefits to ensure that they're meeting satisfactory progress. And we are required to report to VA if a student is on probation or if they've been suspended from a program. So it's critical that while our students are participating and using their education benefits, that they're also meeting their academic standards, not only for the program, but for VA purposes as well. If a student is actually on academic probation, I know many of our participants get a little nervous about this. Being on probation it's really scary for many students, whether you're using education benefits or not. We do have resources on campus to get you through this. However, just for a little bit of peace of mind and for the sake of this group, I'd like to share that while you're on probation, you do continue to receive your VA education benefits. You run into issues if you're placed on suspension. So this is a little bit of good news for our students as well. Our school certifying officials are also required to maintain records of all our active and inactive students. These records are maintained electronically. So that means that when we have audits or we're getting inspected by our regulatory agencies, these documents are easily accessible for them for review. And what these agencies are basically looking for is whether or not the student has submitted the required documentation to use their benefits at NSU, and whether or not NSU as an institution are following on or in compliance with VA policies and procedures. One of our responsibilities as well is to ensure that the proper payments are being made not only to our students, but also to NSU for those that have the tuition component benefit. In addition to that, we troubleshoot issues with these payments. Like I mentioned earlier, we're the connection, we're the middle person between our students and the Department of Veterans Affairs. So if someone shares that they're having issues with their monthly stipend or their tuition hasn't been paid in full by VA because they do have that benefit, our school certifying officials, myself and Ms. Lagunita Dukes, will reach out to the Department of Veterans Affairs Education Benefits Department to verify what's happening with the certification that was submitted. And if there's any discrepancy, we make corrections or we facilitate the information back to our students. Part of managing the payments for our students in NSU include our Yellow Ribbon Scholarship Program. So for those students who are eligible to participate in this program, we manage the application process, the review and determination on whether or not students are eligible. Once an application is actually received from a student, we review their certificate of eligibility, determine if they're eligible, and students receive an automatic response from our communications service center confirming their eligibility of that application. Do we have any questions from the group so far on what I've shared in terms of the department and the school certifying officials' responsibilities?
Well, I don't have a question on that, but I do have a question about are any CARE Acts like implications for like VA benefits, like any of those?
Okay. At this time, any funds that were allocated to institutions under the CARES Act are actually managed through the financial aid office at institutions, and it's a separate benefit or entitlement for those who qualify from the veterans benefits.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, so I had a really nice presentation earlier to share with you guys. Unfortunately, we're having some technical issues this morning. So I want to go over some of the GI Bill benefit programs that we accept here at NSU. I will share the presentation with you, Mia, later on if you want to put it online for those who couldn't participate today and they have a visual of what I'm actually speaking about today. So NSU, in short for Nova Southeastern University, we participate and accept the Chapter 30 benefit program, which is the Montgomery GI Bill. We also accept the Chapter 31, which is the Veteran Readiness and Employment Program. This is formerly known as VOC Rehab. They recently had a renaming and rebranding of this benefit. So now it's known nationwide as the Veteran Readiness and Employment Program. The post 9/11 GI Bill, which is often known as the Chapter 33. We have the Dependents and Survivors Education Assistance Programs, in short, DEA or Chapter 35. We also participate in the Montgomery GI Bill for Select Reserves, Chapter 1606. I mentioned earlier that we participate in the Yellow Ribbon Scholarship Program. We also participate in the Fry Scholarship Program, and as of perhaps a year or a year and a half, we also accept a VA STEM program. This is for students who previously utilized the post 9/11 GI Bill benefits and exhausted, have not completed their program yet, and are in one of the approved STEM programs by VA. There's a separate application process for that, and we do accept and honor that here at NSU. I want to share with the group about the online resources that we have for our department. For those of you that are not familiar or were not aware, we do have a webpage on NOVA's website. If you were to visit nova.edu/financial aid, on your left panel, you're going to see an option for veterans. If you click on that, there's an array of information available to our students about our veterans benefits, the NSU process for using your benefits, a step-by-step guide. We do have a document, it's called sort of a forms matrix. It tells you or guides you to know which forms are necessary and are required to be submitted to our office in order for you to begin using your benefits. We also have information of each specific GI Bill program, a brief description and what to expect for that. And we have lots of frequently asked questions on our website as well. It's all on the left panel of that web page. If there are any questions that are not on that page, I do welcome the group or anyone to share those with me and we can update our website. For the sake of today's conversation, I do want to go over common questions that we have from our students. And Mia, Matt, or any of the participants, feel free to ask different questions as well. And I'll be more than happy to answer those as long as they're general. If they're specific to your education benefit, I'd like to ask that we perhaps schedule a conference call, an email communication, and we can discuss that in much more detail. So one of the common questions that we get, especially since COVID hit us nationwide, is, what impact do students have as it relates to their benefits and their enrollment if their classes are scheduled to be online? It's a very, very common question, a really great concern to our students who are using education benefits. And although it can be very complex to answer that in detail, I can give you the most simple response that I can share for the group. If you are enrolled in a course that is or was traditionally a ground-based course, but it is now being administered or hosted online due to the pandemic, your benefits will not be affected. You will still be treated as a person taking a face-to-face course. However, if you choose to enroll for the online component, then your monthly stipends are definitely affected if you don't have one course that's designated as ground-based. And that can be very confusing. Here at NSU, we have what's called Blend Flex right now. So you may register for a course that's face-to-face. It's set up as a face-to-face course. However, the class is being taught online through Canvas. So technically, you're meeting with your professor online. However, this course was originally scheduled to be face-to-face. If you fall into this scenario, your benefit is not affected. On the other hand, if we have a course, let's say Math 1010, just for the sake of this exercise here, you registered for this course, there's the ground-based / blend flex section, and then there's the online section, and you choose to enroll for the online section course, then you're not protected by these new COVID rules that's set by the Department of Veterans Affairs. So it's very important for you to communicate with our office, communicate with your academic advisor to ensure that you're selecting your classes. in a way that your benefits are not affected. Is that clear, or did you need some clarifying points on that? I know it can be very complicated to understand that concept at times. Okay, I take silence as everything is okay. Um, let's see.
Monroe.
Yes, Mr. Riley.
Yes. I was wondering how much longer, will the blend courses be offered? As far as like the rest of this year or till next year?
The president of the university has not made a public announcement about that topic yet. I know from my personal interactions and certification of student records that this model is still valid through the spring term that starts in April. And more than likely, it's going to be available through the summer. If it's extended past the summer semester, then the president will make a public announcement to the entire NSU community.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, so another common question that I get not only from our students, but also from my colleagues in different departments is whether or not students have to resubmit their paperwork every semester or every year in order to use their benefits. And the answer to that question is no. Once you submit your certificate of eligibility and any other documentation that you're required to submit to my office your first semester, you're not required to resubmit unless your benefits has changed. So what happens is we automatically prepare and set up your file in our program here at the university, in our software program, and also on the VA side. And every semester that you register for classes, we will automatically enroll you or submit your certification to VA. Certification typically happens about 45 days before the semester begins. There are times that we actually are able to report sooner than that. And if we do, you actually receive email confirmations each time we report changes to VA. So the moral of the story is you do not have to resubmit your documentation unless your benefits change. Your certification will be reported automatically. However, if you do not wish to use your benefits for a specific semester, you do have to notify our office in writing, and we will not do that on your behalf. Okay, in my experience, I realized that there are some common errors that are done by students that holds up the process for us to certify enrollment. And one of that is perhaps not applying for your benefits early enough. And this is generally for students who are attending NSU for the first time. The application process can take 6 to 8 weeks, which means that from the moment you submit your application for benefits to VA, it can take that long for a decision to be made and a certificate of eligibility to be issued to you as a participant. So oftentimes students, new students begin the application process when they start the semester at NSU. And although that's okay, we do encourage students to actually apply beforehand simply because it might take some time. And it also depends on the volume of applications VA has. They process everything in the order that they receive. So it's important that if you're a new student, that you apply at least 6 to 8 weeks before your semester begins here at NSU. If you miss that benchmark, that's perfectly fine too. We encourage you to communicate with our office and advise us that you're in the process of applying for benefits so that we can notate your account accordingly. Another thing that usually holds up the certification of your enrollment is if you're an undergraduate student, for instance, that you're not registered full-time, that you partially register for classes and then you wait a couple of weeks and then you add the remaining classes to make you full-time. Another common delay is if you do register for classes, some of your classes are not degree applicable. VA will only provide benefits for courses that count towards a degree. So if you enroll for 4 classes and 3 of them count towards your program and 1 does not, we can't report that 4th class to VA. And oftentimes, rather than only reporting 3 courses, we communicate with program offices and your academic advisors to confirm and validate the information and try to resolve any discrepancy if they're present so that we can report your entire enrollment at once. And this research process and communication, the collaboration between offices can take a little bit of time sometimes because they need to review your degree audit, which courses you've taken already, what's pending, just to ensure that the courses that you are currently registered for are degree applicable. And in some cases, if there's a real challenge and you do have a course that indeed is not counting towards your program, it's important that you are responsive with not only our office here, the Veterans Benefits, but also your academic advisors, because we will reach out to you, attempt to connect, and advise you of what the issue may be if there is one present and what steps you need to take to resolve it. These are, those were the common scenarios that I've experienced with in my years here at NSU, and I've been here for 11 and a half years. I would like to open the Q&A to the group. If you have any questions of your own, I'll be more than happy to assist you here, or I will share our contact information at the end of our discussion, and you can reach out to us directly.
I have a quick question for you, Mary Beth, and this is one that I get pretty frequently from new students, is when they apply for benefits through the VA and they receive that certificate of eligibility, do they have to bring in a physical copy into your office, or will an email version suffice?
Email actually is okay. If we do have students that still like that personal contact, and if that's the case, you can definitely visit our office. We're located at the main campus in the Horvitz Administration Building on the first floor. However, email is perfectly acceptable, especially now during the current pandemic. Most of our business is conducted that way. So students can definitely send that to us via email. Our email address is vabenefits@nova.edu. Once we receive that certificate of eligibility, we will we'll respond to you via email to confirm that we've received it. And if there's additional documentation that we need from you, we'll tell you exactly what that is and how you can submit it to us. So I know some students don't have access to scanners, copiers. That's okay. Take a picture with your cell phone and just attach it to your email. As long as I can see the entire certificate with your demographic information on there, we will accept it.
Excellent. And a second follow-up question, just in regards to a veteran that might be newly applying to VA benefits after they've actually enrolled in school, to where they don't receive the paperwork until they're already in the semester or maybe into the next semester. Are they able to certify for a semester that they had previously attended?
Yes, we do it all the time. We retroactively certify enrollment even after the semester has started or even a year before. So if you get approved for benefits after the term ends or after an academic year, and you wish to use your benefits retroactively, send us your certificate, and within the body of the email, request that we do that for you, and we will certainly honor your request.
Excellent. Thank you for clarifying those two questions. Those were the two main ones that I wanted to ask.
My pleasure. Any other questions from the group? We have a very quiet bunch today, unlike our session last year.
I'll shoot out another follow-up, just one that we frequently get is, what is our school certifying officials' role in regards to the voc rehab or vocational rehabilitation counselors? Like, where did they go and when?
That's an excellent question, Matthew. School certifying officials' primary role is to report enrollment to VA, the Department of Veterans Affairs, for classes that you're registered for. As it relates to the Veteran Readiness and Employment Program, formerly known as Voc Rehab, you would need to, you as a student who plan to use that benefit would have to reach out to that agency first to apply for benefits, similar to the GI Bill. Once you have reached out to VR&E and have applied for benefits, you will receive an authorization. It's also known as a purchase order or PO. You'll receive two of them, one for your tuition and one for your textbooks. Your Voc Rehab or VR&E counselor will provide you with these purchase order numbers so that you can share with us, the school certifying officials. And we also receive the information electronically from them through a network called Tungsten. Once we receive this authorization, we'll set up your file in our system. We'll begin reporting your enrollment to VA, and we also submit electronic invoices so that your tuition is paid for. The process is slightly different from GI Bill, but somewhat similar. It just takes a few extra steps, and we have an extra person involved in the process as well. Your textbook, you can order that online through NSU's bookstore, and you're going to use that purchase order number that's provided to you by your counselor during the checkout process in order for your books to be paid for. So you're not actually paying for these textbooks during the checkout process. You're using this purchase order number in order to complete and process your textbook order with NSU's bookstore. So it is critical that you do communicate with your Voc Rehab counselor beforehand. Most students know that they are eligible, but do not necessarily apply for the benefit. So when they come on board, they sort of feel that everything is going to go according to plan. But without your actual PO numbers, your purchase order numbers, your tuition cannot be invoiced. We don't have the proper authorization, and you won't be able to order your textbooks without paying. So it's really important for you to reach out to that agency first. And if you need assistance with that, please, by all means, reach out to our office. Okay. So any other questions?
I have another question, Ms. Morrow.
Sure, Mr. Riley.
I was wondering, what happens if the post 9/11 benefits run out during like the last semester of your current program?
That's an excellent question, Mr. Riley. It's really hard to gauge what happens with your benefits if you run out in the middle of the semester. For students who are using the post 9/11 GI Bill, the Chapter 33 at 100%, depending on when you run out of benefits in the semester, VA may cover your entire tuition and fees, or they may prorate your benefits up until the date that you exhaust them. In order to actually verify what happens with your individual claim, we would need to report your enrollment and place a courtesy call to our VA Education Benefits Department so that we can have a claims examiner review the certification and tell us how your benefits are going to be affected that term. So in my experience, I've seen it gone both ways. I've seen it where the tuition and fees are covered fully, but I've also seen where your tuition and fees and also your monthly stipend is prorated up until the point where you exhaust your benefits. Now, for those students who are using GI Bill and are also eligible for Yellow Ribbon, keep in mind that once you run out of benefits of the GI Bill component, you also stop being eligible for the Yellow Ribbon program as well. You only qualify while you participate in the GI Bill.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mary Beth, if you will, can you explain for users of the post 9/11 GI Bill, Chapter 33, which students are eligible for the Yellow Ribbon program in regards to being active duty or discharging and being veteran status?
The Yellow Ribbon program applies to students that are using the GI Bill, the post 9/11 GI Bill, which is a Chapter 33, at the 100% benefit level, and you cannot be on active duty. If you are a dependent child of a service member who is on active duty, you do qualify. However, if you are a dependent spouse of a service member who is on active duty, you do not qualify. So you have the service member being a student cannot be active. If you're using transfer of entitlement, meaning that you're a dependent child, you do qualify. However, the student who is a veteran or a spouse of a active veteran do not qualify for the Yellow Ribbon. And just to add a little more to that, we do have different thresholds of the Yellow Ribbon amount that students are eligible to receive if you meet the eligibility criteria. Our undergraduate and graduate population are eligible to receive an additional $8,500 that is provided by VA, and NSU will match that amount. Our first professional / doctoral students may receive up to $2,000 from VA, and NSU will match that amount. In order for students to begin using their Yellow Ribbon Scholarship Program, they actually have to exhaust their annual GI Bill cap first. And every August 1st, you have a new amount that's allotted to you. If you run out of those benefits between August 1st and July 30th, we can tap into the Yellow Ribbon Scholarship Program. You don't have to do anything for this. If you've already applied and were approved for the benefit, our school certifying officials will automatically submit the request on your behalf. One other thing I'd like to share that I didn't mention earlier is that out of all of the benefits that are honored or accepted here at NSU, there are only 2 benefits that actually provide a tuition component, meaning your tuition is either fully covered or partially covered. It's the Chapter 33, the post 9/11 GI Bill that we've been talking about a lot, and the Voc Rehab Chapter 31 benefit. So if you are eligible for these benefits, your account, your tuition is protected. In other words, you're not required to submit a payment to the institution. You're basically, we call this, it's sort of like a memo that we put on your student account so that you don't incur late fees or holds on your student account as a result of any delays while we wait for the tuition payment from VA. All other chapters do not have a tuition component. So that means that your tuition is due in full at the time of registration. You do have a grace period. You have 30 days from the beginning of the semester before any late fees are assessed. So just keep that in mind. Do we have any other questions? Questions going once, going twice? Matthew, did you have any other questions that you would like for me to answer for the group?
No, you've been wonderful and able to answer all the frequently asked questions we've been encountering recently. And we have a new guest entering, so we'll see if they have any questions that they would want to ask real quick.
Sure.
Okay, I guess we'll do one last call for any questions about VA education benefits here at NSU. Yes, go ahead. Oh, I see the hand was raised and just lowered down.
Hello, yeah.
Yep, there we go.
When it comes to scholarships, like the Dean Scholarship, is that fenced or non-fenced?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the last part of your question. Do you mind repeating that for me?
For the Dean, as far as the Dean Scholarships, because I'm using the GI Bill
Okay.
for vocational rehab, and I received the Dean Scholarship, and I'm trying to see if it's fenced or non-fenced.
Fenced or non-fenced? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking. Can you clarify that for me?
Fenced scholarships, like if you're using the GI Bill and fenced scholarships, and a fenced scholarship, it's only used towards tuition, meaning it'll go back to the VA. But non-fenced scholarships, it'll go back to the student.
Okay, so the Dean Scholarship is a tuition-only award. So any student who is using that scholarship in addition to their education benefits will get their VA tuition amount reduced, which means if your tuition is $10,000, for example, and you are participating in Voc Rehab, which covers your full tuition, and you receive a Dean Scholarship for $3,000, we are only going to bill Voc Rehab for $7,000 because the combination of both awards cannot exceed the cost of your tuition.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Now, I'd like to piggyback a little bit on that question. For those undergraduate students who are eligible for other federal and state awards that are not tuition only, those can be refundable to students if it exceeds the cost of your tuition. So if the combination of your awards and your VA benefits exceeds your actual cost, and there's a credit balance on your student account, those funds can be refunded back to you. It's on a case-by-case basis, and we do review that to ensure that students are receiving what they're entitled to.
What about Pell Grants?
Pell Grant is federal and can be used towards your cost of attendance. So if you are a student using Voc Rehab, for instance, and your tuition is covered in full, and you receive the Pell Grant award, that can be refunded to you once you have a credit balance on your student account.
Okay.
Do we have any additional questions from the group?
I did want to chime in just real quick in regards to other scholarships that may be toward tuition or directly toward you. Our office keeps an ongoing list of those scholarships available. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Most of those are going to be independent or community-based scholarships that you can apply for, since you can go to NSU's financial aid website and see those that are available internal. So definitely reach out to us. Go ahead, email us at vrc@nova.edu, and we can shoot that list over to you as well.
Do we have any final questions from our group? Okay, so I'd like to provide the group with our department's contact information so that you can have it handy. If you wanted to reach us by phone, you can call us at toll-free 1-800-541-6682, extension 27236, or you can call us directly at 954-262-7236. Our veteran students have a priority line with our NSU contact center. So your wait time is not as long as our normal or regular calls that are coming into our traditional phone lines. If you want to communicate with us via email or submit documentation to our office, you can do so at vabenefits@nova.edu. I do encourage you all to visit our website and review the frequently asked questions. There are some great questions out there. If you think of a question that's not posted in our website, please share that with our office and we'll update our webpage. It'll benefit other students as well. Matthew and Mia, I'd like to thank you very much for inviting our office to speak with our fellow veteran students about our department, what we do, our role, and benefits in general. And for the participants, thank you for the great questions. Reach out to our office if you have any questions, or just pop in to our building in Horvitz. Even during the pandemic, we're actually still seeing students at the one-stop shop.
Thank you again, Mary Beth, and just for everybody in attendance, if there's a couple questions that you may have missed or would like to reference old or other topics that we host for our speaker series, we do have a YouTube channel, and you can find us, just search in YouTube the NSU Veteran Resource Center, and it should pop up with our complete catalog of previous sessions. So thank you again for everybody. Thank you, Mary Beth. We do greatly appreciate it, and thanks to everybody that joined us today.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.